Did you know that in Formula One you can lose a race without even making a mistake? Seems absurd, but it has happened. Tires are the invisible factor that can make or break a team. Pirelli supplies the same compounds for everyone, but do all teams really use them the same way? Before I continue, tell me in the comments. Do you think F1 should have multiple tire manufacturers again, or is it better to keep Pirelli alone? Since 2011, the Italian company Pirelli has been the sole supplier of tires to all Formula One teams. Its contract with the FIA stipulates that each season it must provide tires specifically designed for the demands of the category, with constant updates to adapt to changes in regulations and the evolution of the cars. However, the history of tire suppliers in Formula One is long and full of competition. In the early years of the championship, several brands shared the grid, allowing teams to choose which tires to use according to their needs. Dunlop, Firestone, Engelbert and Pirelli were the first to compete to offer the best solution in the Grand Prix. Over the years, brands such as Michelin and Bridgestone came to the fore, especially in the 2000s, when they engaged in one of the most intense technological battles in Formula One history. The so-called tire war between the two companies led to accelerated development of compounds and structures, forcing teams to build cars specifically designed to take advantage of the characteristics of each supplier. This technological war ended in 2007 when the FIA decided to establish a single tire supplier to ensure a level playing field between all teams. Bridgestone was chosen and maintained this role until 2010, when it decided to withdraw from the category. From 2011, Pirelli took over and has since worked closely with the FIA to develop tires adapted to the modern demands of F1. Pirelli faces the constant challenge of balancing performance with durability. Each season, it adjusts its compounds to meet the demands of new cars, taking into account factors such as aerodynamic load, race strategies and driver safety. Pirelli's exclusive supply also means that all teams receive the same selection of tires at each Grand Prix. This forces strategists to make decisions based on the performance of the compound in specific conditions, rather than choosing tires from different manufacturers based on the suitability of their car. The presence of a single supplier has sparked debate in Formula One. Some argue that it limits innovation, as there is no competition between manufacturers to develop better compounds. Others defend the measure, claiming that it avoids inequalities and allows race strategy and driver management to be the decisive factors in tire use. Pirelli has renewed its contract with the FIA on several occasions, ensuring its permanence in Formula One until at least 2027. However, the debate about the possibility of returning to a multi-manufacturer model remains open and could be one of the big decisions that the category makes in the coming years. In Formula One, the tires are not just another component of the car. They are the only point of contact between the car and the track, which means that any detail in their performance can make the difference between winning and losing a race. Regardless of the engine power, aerodynamic efficiency or driver skill, if the tires are not in their optimal state, the car will not be able to perform at its best. The temperature of the tires is one of the most critical factors. If they are too cold, the grip is drastically reduced, causing the car to skid and lose speed in the corners. If they are too hot, they can degrade in a few laps, generating blisters on the surface and losing performance irreversibly. Finding the right balance is key to maintaining a competitive pace throughout the race. Each tire has an optimal temperature range in which it offers the best grip and performance. For soft compounds, this range is narrower and harder to maintain, but they offer greater speed. Harder tires, on the other hand, have a wider range and are more resistant, but generate less grip, which can affect traction and braking ability. Teams spend hours analyzing telemetry data to understand how tires perform in different conditions. Factors such as aerodynamic load, circuit layout and ambient temperature can influence the way a tire behaves during a race. That's why choosing the right compound and tire management strategy are fundamental aspects of every Grand Prix weekend. Some drivers are known for their ability to look after their tires better than others. Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz have proven to be experts at prolonging the life of their tires without losing pace, allowing them to execute more flexible race strategies. In contrast, there are drivers whose more aggressive driving style leads to premature wear, forcing them to make more pit stops and compromising their final result. The impact of tires on race strategy is huge. A team that manages its tires well can avoid an extra stop and gain positions without the need to overtake on track. Conversely, a team that suffers unexpected degradation can lose valuable seconds and be out of the fight for points. In extreme situations, tires can completely define the development of a race. In 2020, during the British Grand Prix, several drivers suffered blowouts in the final laps due to extreme tire wear. Lewis Hamilton crossed the finish line with only 3 wheels on his car, demonstrating the extent to which tire management can determine a result. The balance between performance and durability is one of the key issues in Formula One. Each team must decide whether to take a risk with softer tires to gain speed in the short term or prefer a more conservative strategy with hard compounds to minimize pit stops. The right decision can be the difference between a podium finish or falling out of the points. Tires not only affect an individual driver's performance, but also influence the dynamics of the entire field. A car with bad tires is more vulnerable to being overtaken, while one with fresh tires can easily make up positions. This creates constant changes in strategy and forces teams to adapt in real time to what happens on the track. Tire mastery is what distinguishes the great Formula One strategists. Red Bull has built its success in part on its ability to extend tire performance beyond what is expected, while teams like Haas have constantly suffered from their inability to manage wear efficiently. The level of complexity that tires add to Formula One is what makes every race unpredictable. It's not just about which car is faster, but who can get the most out of their tires in the specific conditions of each Grand Prix. This is why tires are undoubtedly one of the most important factors in Formula One. The performance of a Formula One tire does not depend solely on its compound or the number of laps it has completed. There are multiple factors that influence its behavior and how it affects the overall performance of the car. From the characteristics of the circuit to the driver's driving style, each variable can make a tire last longer or shorter, have more grip or lose effectiveness quickly. The layout of the track is one of the most determining elements. Circuits with high-speed corners generate an enormous transfer of energy on the tires, which raises their temperature and accelerates their wear. Suzuka is a clear example with its iconic SEs that test the stability and resistance of the compound. In contrast, circuits with slower corners can cause more tire slippage on the asphalt, affecting the surface and reducing grip as the laps go by. The surface of the circuit also plays a key role. Not all tracks are built from the same material or have the same level of abrasion. Some, such as the Singapore circuit, have relatively smooth asphalt that allows tires to last longer. Others, such as Barcelona or Silverstone, have rougher surfaces that accelerate wear. A circuit with high abrasion causes tires to lose performance faster, forcing teams to consider strategies with more pit stops. Weather conditions are another determining factor. High ambient temperatures can overheat tires, causing blisters and rapid degradation. In cold climates, tires take longer to reach their optimum temperature, which means they can slide more on the track and wear unevenly. In 2023, during the Qatar Grand Prix, extreme heat forced the FIA to impose a limit on laps per stint to avoid safety risks related to excessive tire degradation. Tire choice for each session is another key aspect. Each team has access to 3 dry compounds selected by Pirelli for the weekend, identified by the colors red, yellow, and white. Choosing the right compound depends not only on tire performance, but also on overall race strategy. Using a softer compound can be an advantage in qualifying due to its increased grip, but could be a disadvantage in the race if it degrades too quickly. The setup of the car also directly influences the behavior of the tires. Parameters such as downforce, car height, suspension and brake balance can alter the way a tire transfers its energy to the road. A car with a more aggressive setup will generate higher tire temperatures and could wear them out faster, while a more conservative setup can help prolong their life. The driver's driving style is another factor that cannot be ignored. A driver who brakes too aggressively or accelerates too hard can cause the tires to overheat, leading to a loss of performance. Wheel lockup under heavy braking not only affects wear, but can also cause damage to the tire tread, reducing its effectiveness. A good example is graining, a phenomenon in which small rubber particles break off the tire and stick to its surface, causing a momentary loss of grip. During a race, all these factors interact dynamically. There is no single strategy that works in all circumstances, and teams must adjust their plan in real time based on tire behavior and track conditions. The key to good performance is not just having a fast car, but also managing the tires in the best possible way to optimize each lap and minimize the number of pit stops. The most successful teams are those that manage to fully understand how these factors affect tires and adjust their strategy accordingly. Red Bull, for example, has demonstrated an exceptional ability to extend the life of its tires, allowing its drivers to execute more flexible strategies. In contrast, teams like Haas have had recurring problems with premature tire wear, forcing them to make more frequent pit stops and lose positions in the race. Understanding all these elements allows for better analysis of race strategies and to understand why some teams manage to maximize their performance while others suffer from tire degradation. It's not just about which driver is faster, but who knows how to best manage their tires based on each situation on track. The tires on a Formula One car are subject to extreme conditions on every lap, so it is essential that teams have the ability to monitor them in real time. To achieve this, the tires are equipped with advanced sensors that allow them to accurately measure key factors such as temperature, pressure, and degradation. This data is analyzed by engineers on the pit wall and in the team's factories, where strategists adjust race planning based on the information obtained. One of the most important sensors is the pressure sensor. Each Formula One tire operates within a specific pressure range to ensure the best balance between grip and durability. If the pressure is too low, the tire can generate a larger contact patch with the road, which increases short-term grip but also increases the risk of overheating and accelerated wear. If the pressure is too high, the tire loses grip, affecting cornering performance and the stability of the car. Tire temperature is another critical factor that is constantly measured through thermal sensors. A tire needs to be within an optimal temperature range to function properly. If it is too cold, it lacks grip and wears unevenly. If it is too hot, it can develop blisters on the surface, drastically reducing its effectiveness. These sensors allow teams to warn drivers when they need to modify their driving style to protect the tires. During the race, engineers receive real-time data and compare it to previously calculated degradation models. Each team has simulations that predict how long a tire can last in each track condition, but these predictions can change due to unexpected factors such as traffic, weather conditions, or the pace of rivals. If a team detects that degradation is higher than expected, it can decide to bring forward a pit stop to avoid a loss of performance. Sensors also help drivers manage brake temperature, which directly influences the tires. When a driver brakes hard, heat from the brake discs is transferred to the tires, raising their temperature. If this process is not controlled correctly, it can lead to overheating that accelerates degradation. For this reason, teams adjust brake cooling based on the information provided by the sensors to avoid unnecessary wear. Another key element that is analyzed in real time is the state of the tire based on the race strategy. Teams constantly monitor whether a driver's lap times remain within the ideal performance window. If a tire loses effectiveness faster than expected, engineers can decide to change the strategy plan on the spot. This is what differentiates teams that manage their tires well from those that suffer from unexpected degradation. In radio communication, tire management messages reflect real-time analysis of the data received. Expressions such as "look after your tires," "manage your pace," or "stay in the window" are indications based on precise information obtained by sensors. Sometimes teams ask drivers to slow down not because they are at immediate risk, but because they have detected that continuing at the same pace could compromise race strategy later on. The data collected by the sensors not only influences a single race, but is also used to improve the performance of the car in future races. Engineers analyze wear and degradation trends to optimize car setup, driver driving style, and tire strategy for upcoming Grands Prix. In modern Formula One, the ability to interpret and react to sensor information is one of the biggest competitive advantages. Teams such as Red Bull have demonstrated a keen ability to manage tires accurately thanks to their real-time data analysis, while other teams have lost positions by failing to react in time to signs of accelerated degradation. Success in Formula One depends not only on the pure speed of the car, but on the ability to make strategic decisions based on real-time data. Tires are a fundamental element in the equation, and sensors allow teams to maximize their performance at every stage of the race. Tires in Formula One are not just another component of the car. They are the factor that can define the outcome of a race and separate the teams that dominate the strategy from those that fall behind. Every decision related to them, from compound choice to on-track management, has a direct impact on performance and chances of victory. Understanding how tires work and why they are so crucial completely changes the way a Formula One race is analyzed. It is not just about which driver is fastest over a lap, but about understanding who manages their tires best over the course of a race, who manages to maximize their performance, and who has the ability to adapt to changes on the track. The most successful teams are not simply those with the fastest cars, but those who have perfected the art of strategy. Red Bull has demonstrated an exceptional ability to extend the life of its tires and execute race plans with surgical precision, while other teams have missed opportunities through poor degradation management. Every Formula One race is a strategic puzzle where tires are the centerpiece. Decisions made at the right time can make the difference between a podium finish and falling out of the points. Understanding this allows you to see beyond the obvious and understand why some teams manage to stay in the fight until the final lap, while others are relegated before crossing the finish line. Now that you know the importance of tires in Formula One, one question remains. Should the series allow competition between different tire manufacturers again, or is it better to keep a single supplier to ensure a level playing field? Leave your opinion in the comments and join the debate. If you're interested in learning more about how tire strategies have defined key moments in Formula One history, don't miss the next video, where we'll look at how tire management has been the decisive factor in some of the most memorable races. Turn on notifications and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any analysis. See you at the next race.